Turner here with a lesson on factoring trinomials completely. Today's learning target is to completely factor a trinomial. So add P5 factoring completely to your table of contents. Now, there is one thing that we have not included in our factoring so far. What if you have a common factor? What do you do if you have a common factor? Well, you factor out the greatest common factor first. And I'm going to put a little asterisk here because you don't forget to include it in your final answer. So let me give you a couple of examples. Example 1 is going to be factor 18x squared minus 15x plus 3. When you are looking at these three terms, they have a common factor of 3. So you are going to rewrite this with a 3 on the outside. That's factoring out. And now you are going to write the trinomial. 3 times what number is 18? That is 6. So you have 6x squared. 3 times what number is negative 15? That's negative 5. 3 times what number is 3? That's 1. Now you can go ahead and factor out, or factor the trinomial 6x squared minus 5x plus 1 with a diamond box, just like we've been doing. A is 6, B is negative 5, and C is 1. Making a diamond, A times C is going to be 6, B is negative 5. I am looking for two numbers, and they multiply to be a positive, but their sum is a negative, so both numbers are a negative. And negative 3 times negative 2 will give us positive 6. Negative 3 plus negative 2 gives us negative 5. So I'm on track right there. I'm going to make my box. I'm making my box with just my insides, just like with what I factored with. So 6x squared and goes in the first part. The 1 goes in the bottom right. And I'm going to use my factors, negative 3x and negative 2x, to complete my box. Now I'm looking at the top row. 6x squared minus 3x have a 3x in common. And filling in the top above the 6x squared, 3 times 2x gives us 6x squared. And 3x times negative 1 gives us negative 3x. 2x times negative 1 will give me negative 2x, and negative 1 times negative 1 is 1. So from this portion, I have 2x, take away 1, and 3x, take away 1. However, do not forget that you have to go back up and grab this 3 and put it on right there. So to factor it completely, you have 3 times the quantity, 2x minus 1, times the quantity, 3x minus 1. So that is our first type of an example. Our second example, maybe you have just more than numbers in common. What if I have 6x cubed plus 10x squared minus 4x? In this situation, I happen to have multiple things. I have an x, and an x in each term, and 6, 10, and 4 have a common factor of 2. So in this situation, I am not only going to factor out a 2, but I'm going to factor out an x. So 2 times 3 is 6, and x times x squared would give me my x cubed. 2 times 5 is 10, and x times x gives me x squared. 2 times negative 2 is 4, and I have my x. So at this point in time, my common factor of all terms is 2x. So now I'm going to take 3x squared with a equal to 3 plus 5x, so b is 5, and c is negative 2. I'm going to make my diamond. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. My b value is 5. Now I'm looking for two numbers that when I multiply them, they are negative. So one is going to be negative and one is going to be positive. And in this situation, the bigger number is positive. So negative 1 times positive 6 is negative 6, and negative 1 plus 6 is 5. Oops, excuse me there. So I'm going to make my box. And inside my box, I'm going to put my 3x squared. I'm going to put my negative 2, and I'm going to use my factors from my diamond problem, negative 1x and 6x. Okay, so I have 3x squared minus 1x, and in the top row, the only thing I have in common is an x. So x times what is 3x squared? Well, that's a 3x. X times negative 1 is going to give me negative 1x. Looking to my bottom, I have 3x times the number 2 will give me 6x. And does 2 times negative 1 equal negative 2? Yes, it does. So when I'm looking just at the box, I have 3x take away 1 times the quantity x plus 2. Do not forget that you have to bring down that 2x that you had already factored out. So when you are factoring completely, nothing has a greatest common factor in it. These are two examples of factoring a trinomial completely. Take a moment, pause the video. This is the last thing we are learning prior to the unit test. So make sure that you are comfortable with each steps. There are a lot of steps, and to keep yourself organized, you might want to write the list of steps down on a 3x5 card or something that you can have with you. Again, use your notebook. It is a great tool.